Hello beautiful people and welcome to another episode of Canvas World BigbrotherNaija Review. So first I want to start by saying this season has been hot and we just started. It's literally not even a week yet. Fights have been flying up and down. I've been seeing different shades of manipulation and it's just been a lot. So I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to dissect the Tbaj issue. I'll talk about Ilebaye, then we'll talk about CeeC and Alex. And we'll talk about some of the guys and some of their strategies and how it's playing so far. And I'll try to keep it short. And I hope you stay. So here, let's go. Welcome to Canvas World. So let's start with some of the most recent events, which is Ilebaye versus everybody at this point. It's almost everybody. So I'll start with Ilebaye. You know, honestly, from the beginning of the season and from before, I know that Ilebaye has been a very flirtatious person. And I've always thought that, okay, maybe the flirtatiousness, if that is even a word, was a little bit too much, but that's honestly her business. You know, at the end of the day, we'll just criticize and then we keep it moving and we'll give our opinion. So I just felt like, this one's, you know, it's just flirtatious and stuff, nothing much to it. But between her and Tbaj, the way Tbaj treated her yesterday, I think is highly uncalled for. Whether she's flirtatious or not, that might be your opinion. You might not like it, but for you to outright slut shame her, chase her out of another person's bed, is ridiculous to me. I'm sorry, it's giving obsessed. It's giving taking out your frustration on somebody else. If there's something else frustrating to Tbaj, let her focus on that, because you can't tell me that this girl, Ilebaye, did something to you that warranted that level of meanness and that level of abuse from you. Like, she literally was in Neo's bed and then Tbaj just came, dragged the duvet. I was like, get out, leave my room. And even in the diary session today, Big Brother asked her that what happened, and then she was explaining that me and what's her name, Ilebaye, we had an issue. I told her to leave my room, and Big Brother asked her, Tbaj, do you have a room in Big Brother's house? She said, yeah, Big Brother's house, I know it's your house, but it's my room. Said, but is it just your room? Said, yeah, but I'm speaking for all of my roommates. And then, like, Big Brother kept calling her out to the point where she was like, now this sounds bad, the way Big Brother is saying it. But if she's smart, for Big Brother to call her out, should rethink and, you know, say, okay, for Big Brother to have mentioned this thing and try to call me out, maybe I wasn't so nice, and just think about it. But I don't even think she is thinking of the fact that she actually did something wrong to Ilebaye. She was saying that she wanted to apologize to Neo because she involved him inside the whole thing, and even told Neo that, see, so Ilebaye, while she was chasing Ilebaye out of Neo's bed, Ilebaye said, I'm not going to leave unless Neo tells me to leave. Neo did not tell her to leave. Then Tbaj told Neo, tell her to leave, else my friendship is over. I'm just like, are we in primary school? Is there something going on that we don't know about? Because at the end of the day, Neo is not Tbaj's man. He's not your man. So I don't know where this energy is coming from. It's uncalled for. And I don't know if it's because people feel like they can try Ilebaye. So I think that in life in general, people know who to try. People know who to try certain things with. And too many people are trying Ilebaye. Too many people are trying her. So it's almost like she's giving off that energy of, you know, she's soft, she's meek, she's friendly, she's just being friendly with everybody. Yes, a little bit flirtatious, but there's no meanness attached to it. So, but people feel like, I can try this girl. And then, a lot of people have been trying her. Even like she had an argument with Venita earlier in the day where they didn't want to give her a gold coin, or they said she didn't do it enough. Angel too had her own session with Ilebaye. So I really, at this point, I'm beginning to feel bad for her. Even though she's not, I feel like she could have handled herself better to avoid these things. But I still am empathetic to apply, because one thing I cannot stand in my life is bullies. I cannot stand bullies, indirectly or directly. I just can't stand them. I can't remember how many fights I've gotten into with bullies that were not even bullying me, but bullying other people. But because I've dealt with that thing in the past, I really dealt with bullies in my childhood. So it kind of created some level of defensiveness. When I sense any form of bullying, like it just irks my skin. I hate bullies. I hate the act of being bullied. And you just cannot, like, it's going to be really hard to bully me these days, because over the years, in trying to protect myself from bullies, I actually developed a very sharp mouth. So I will tell you about yourself, and you are not going to like it. So my heart goes out to Ilebaye, and I hope that she listens to Doyin's advice, because one thing Doyin can do sometimes is give good advice. If she applies it to her life, I don't know. But when it comes to giving people good advice, even in her season, Doyin was giving the term the therapist, because she really has a good way, like she has a high level of emotional intelligence. Doyin knows how to give good advice. I won't even lie. And I saw a clip of Doyin telling Ilebaye, see, there's a way you need to carry yourself so that people will not be insulting you. And I even said in one of my previous videos when I was talking about love bombing and stuff like that, and then it got to a point where I was like, if people try you, whether you deserve it or not, there's a part of you that contributed to that, because there's a part of you that made those people feel comfortable enough to try you. Some of this is they're trying with Ilebaye, they cannot try it with CeeC. And even if you try it with CeeC, you will not succeed. like you can't try it with CeeC, first of all, because you know what's coming. But even if you now try it with CeeC, you know what is coming. You will not, it's not going to be a stroll in the park. It's not going to be easy for you. Even you that try CeeC, you will go through a lot. Like it's not going to be a walk in the park. You will pay for it. Do you understand? So I think that the best thing is to follow Doyin's advice. Don't even put yourself in that situation. See, when you finally get to a point where you have to argue and you have to prove a point, you have done something wrong. From the beginning, there are boundaries you need to set. There are standards you need to set for yourself, so that it never gets to that point. That last point where you guys have to confront each other, that's the last point. That's where everything will scatter. So the best thing is to hold yourself to a high standard, and to cut things off quickly. Nip it in the bud, cut it off, sharp. That one is later. You must have done something wrong in the beginning. If at the end of the day you have to get to that point of shouting, you understand what I'm saying? So that's the last resort. That's something you do not want to do. So you try your best to avoid it, to respect yourself, and to set boundaries, and to state clearly your boundaries. And you don't have to joke about it. You don't have to laugh about it. You just have to be firm. You don't have to be aggressive, but you have to be firm when you're stating your boundaries, so that people know that you're not playing. And some people won't like it, but that's their business. Because in this life, you cannot be tiptoeing around people's feelings. The Tbaj thing is giving bully, and I have to applaud Doyin, even though I don't agree with everything Doyin does. There's some things that, Doyin is not perfect, but one thing I think she is she's a good friend, and she cares about her friends. And you can see that she's really hurt that Ilebaye is going through this. Like even at diary session, she talked about it. And she's a really sweet person. She's a sweet friend, and she cares about Ilebaye. I hope Ilebaye listens to advice, but I doubt that she will, because the worst, there's nothing more time wasting than advising somebody who hasn't come to a resolution for themselves, or somebody that is in love. You see those two people, you will advise them because you care about them. You will do your best, but until they are ready, forget about it. Just forget about it. And I've been there. I've advised somebody like that before, and I've also been advised before, and people will tell me, this person is not good for you, this person is treating you bad. I will hear it in that moment, it makes sense, but because I have not resolved everything within myself, and I have not gotten to that point of, okay, fine, I finally get it. And like Iyanla Vanzant said, it doesn't hurt enough yet. That's why you still accept it.
It don't hurt bad enough. That's why you're still there.
So maybe you haven't gotten to the point where it has hurt you enough to say, you know what, it's okay. Or you are just in love. continue. That's just how it is. Most times in my life, I'm just one of those people, like, they've advised me, I'll not hear. I will hear it for the minute, I'll be upset in that minute. Once they tell me sorry, we're good again. And very, like, unless then, or when the person does something, one small thing that is nice, we're good again. But until it hurts me to a point where I just, like, there's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else for you to take. You've taken everything, you've hurt me to my core. Then at this point, I will not accept the advice they've been advising me. So maybe Ilebaye now will learn, or maybe they've not insulted her enough. Maybe she still has some more insult left for her to take, for her to get it. So once he finally hurts bad enough, maybe she'll learn. I just can't stand people that just gang up and bully one person. I just cannot stand it. And I also cannot stand it when they do it to me. So whenever I feel like there's a group thing where you gang up against me and I'm getting bully vibes, I cut it off. I don't get strength. That being said, Ilebaye just needs to respect herself. She also went to Kidwaya's bed. I don't know which person's bed she went to first. If she went to Kidwaya's bed first, because Kidwaya was like, no, I don't want you in my bed. Maybe he felt like she was wrong and he didn't want her to, lay in her bed and do things that the next morning she would wake up and regret or something. But he didn't want her in his bed. So when she was insisting on staying in his bed, he stood up and left. So my love, Ilebaye, I don't think she's ever going to see this, but one thing about Big Brother and about social experiments like this is it's just a reflection of reality. And it's just a reflection of how so many people, so many of us, and I'm including myself, sometimes we don't learn to read the room. Sometimes we cannot understand the handwriting on the wall. But don't stay in a place you are not wanted, or in a place you're not welcomed, or in a place you're not valued. You can't keep going everywhere shopping for attention and shopping for validation. Sometimes you just have to cut everybody off and be by yourself and give yourself that love. If you can't be alone by yourself, what makes you think other people want to be with you? Do you understand? So this is not just for Ilebaye, but this is for everybody anybody who is shopping around for attention, hanging around people who don't value them. This is a wake-up call to everybody. Respect yourself. Because see the way Ilebaye is being insulted anyhow by people whose business it isn't. It's none of Tolani Tbaj's business. But she now feels like she has the right because enough people are already talking about the girl. So now she feels like she's speaking, she's the voice of the gods, she's the voice of the people. So once you respect yourself, you cut some of this nonsense. So that's just my let's all learn, let's all grow, and let's respect ourselves. Now moving on to Alex and CeeC. This one, I'm not gonna lie, this one is a lot because this one is even historical in nature at this point. Like this thing has been, I was in the university when CeeC and Alex were fighting. I was still in university. I've graduated, I've worked, I've served, I've worked, I've changed jobs, and they are still fighting. So it's a lot. It's really a lot. But let's talk about it. And I have an unpopular opinion about this. Let me state this clearly. I am not an Alex fan, and I'm not a CeeC fan, like a diehard anybody fan. So it's not like I have any sentiment towards anybody in particular. So the first day that these two people clashed, Alex wrote a script. Alex took that script personal. She has been writing, she has been doing a lot of work. Nobody can take away the work that Alex put into it. When Alex finally brought the work to the whole house, according to CeeC, she said, what you did is beautiful. However, the concept is not yet a story. So you need to make it a story. And from all the things I've been seeing and hearing about the wager and all the writing, I agree with CeeC. As a creative and as a writer myself, I feel like it's just a lot of little things here and there, but they haven't made it a story that ties everything together. So I kind of see where CeeC is coming from. However, that doesn't even matter. Right, so CeeC is saying, okay, I see that this thing is beautiful. However, I feel like it's a bit scattered and we need to tie it together so that it's a story. And CeeC wasn't the only one that said it. Angel said it. Uriel also set up like that. Now, Alex is feeling the kind of way because she feels like it's personal because she has put in so much work. As a creative person, I get it. Whenever you write a song, whenever you write a poem, whenever you write something, you are sharing a piece of your heart on that piece of paper. and it's like a baby. So when people come at it, it takes a lot of work for you to work on being okay with people criticizing your work. The reason why I'm even a bit, I've learned to accept criticism is because I live in a house where everybody's very critical. And I typically, when I write a song or I write a poem, I'll call on my siblings and I'm like, okay, and I'll read the poem or sing the song and say, what do you guys think? And they'll begin to dissect it. And I've learned to not just take it personal. Now, there are some things I don't agree with them. I'm like, you guys don't know what you're saying. However, I still take it and I don't take it personal. So I get all the different sides of all of these things, but I understand Alex has put in a lot of work. So it's like, you did not do any work, but this is my point. This is how I see it. I feel like Alex knows this set of people. These are not even new housemates. These are old people. They have established brands and stuff. So everybody's highly opinionated. Everybody has something going on for them. You can't just come and feel like you can override them. So when there's a wager, you go inside the wardrobe, inside the room, and you're writing a script for everybody, and you feel like people will not criticize it. That's really what's confusing me. Like, I feel like Alex shouldn't have gone to work on it alone. Everybody that went to add to that script went to meet Alex where she was, and then she will not allow them come in. So it now felt like Alex's project that other people were joining instead of a house project that Alex was contributing to. So she owned it, and as much as it's not bad that she owned it, it's like, how do you not expect some pushback? Because you never, this is not Alex's project. Funny enough, Alex is running the house and running this project more than Adekunle, who is even the head of house. So I'm even wondering how it would be if Alex is head of house, honestly. At this point, there was a time they were arguing, even Adekunle was calling her, excuse me, head of house, excuse me, head of house. Because it's really, it's surprising. Like, what do you expect? Before you started it, I would expect that, okay, you call some people, tell the whole house what your concept is, let people input before you start it. You don't finish the whole thing and then go and give people, and you don't expect people to dissect it. So I feel like, because it's a group project, Alex should have not carried it too close to her chest. Even if she means well, it still might not end well, because at the end of the day, it's a group project and people have every right to give an input. However, in a general term, that argument, I'm not going to say I really particularly blame anybody, because whether CeeC or Alex, because I just get both sides. Alex wrote it, she's taking it personal because she's a creative person and she has created something. CeeC is just giving a point of view and she's like, why are you taking it personal? So that one, I don't even fault anybody. Day 2, I think what started it was, now the first day they've already started fighting. So I think they said CeeC is going to be in charge of costume. CeeC say no wahala, but because she understands that she and this person Alex are not in the best of terms, so instead of them clashing by working together on that costumes, she would rather work with Shay to be a middleman so that they don't have to work directly, so they don't clash. Seems reasonable, right? Alex just did not want to accept that. She was like, hey, CeeC, we don't have any problem. And I feel like that's very, very gaslighting and manipulating. Like, we all know you have problem. You know you have problem with CeeC. CeeC knows that, okay, fine, we're not agreeing at this moment. So I don't like when people just come in public and try to create a narrative that does not exist. There's really the fact, and the fact is you guys are not on the same term. You guys are not agreeing. So why are you trying to now start forming holier than thou? And then, you know, you are throwing words, you are throwing jabs at CeeC, and you expect her not to react. I don't just understand. Telling CeeC that if CeeC is here because she's a fighter and she wants to continue a narrative that of female rivalry, how can you say something like that and you expect? So this second day, I feel like Alex was looking for trouble, because in CeeC asking that she works with Shay, it should not be a problem. If you don't like problems and this person says, okay, I'm trying to avoid any issues, so let me just work with this person, why don't you just accept it? And if you want to settle with CeeC, you can go and talk to her later. But for you to then drag that, I don't understand. Don't you not want to, like, do you want wahala? Don't you want peace? Is it problems you want? And then another thing that caused wahala again is that in the whole story, she wanted to add, you know, they're adding the highlights of different contestants from different seasons, and Alex wrote CeeC's highlights as CeeC got many strikes. At this point in time, Alex is just being passive aggressive, honestly. Passive aggressive is people who are actually being aggressive, but in a subtle way that is not direct. You know, direct aggressive is the crazy, the mad, the bumble, the guy. Indirect, passive aggressive, well manipulated kind of aggression and well planned one. It's not ever direct. It's those subtle jabs. I'm like, why? So is it that because she knows that CeeC is hot tempered and CeeC already has a floating narrative that she's aggressive, so now you're pushing her so that she will react, and then you now hide your hand and say, hey, I'm not, I just don't understand. And you know what Big Brother has taught me year in, year out is that we have a lot of toxic people in this world. And it's not just the housemates that are toxic. There are a lot of toxic people, your neighbors, your co-workers, very toxic people. Because it's only a toxic person that will support toxicity. And you see somebody looking for trouble in broad daylight, and you still support the rubbish. That just goes to make me know that, that just goes to show that, and it also makes me know that these people are toxic, because it only takes a toxic person to support toxicity. It's interesting. They're giving us a show. And even CeeC said in her diary session that in the bathroom, Alex pushed her to get it. Because she was still in the bathroom, she was using the bathroom, and Alex just pushed her aside and got it. I'm just like, this is a lot. And it's really hard, because if you have a reputation for being aggressive, people don't always want to know, okay, why is this person even reacting? Like, what's making this person vex? It's just, oh my gosh. Nobody just begins to respond aggressively if they're not being pushed. But one thing I've come to understand in this life is, just because you've chosen the path of peace doesn't mean that Wahala will also come and find you. So just like CeeC said to White Money, just be yourself. If you're a no-nonsense person, if you're somebody that nips it in the body, if you're somebody that clears people, it is good to evolve, it is good to grow, but at the same time, it is also good to not lose yourself trying to please people. Sometimes you're just going to have to give it to them, just as they ask, as they deserve. Hey Lord, this is something else. The All-Stars are giving us a show, and we're not complaining. So I hope you stayed to the very end. I said it was going to be short, and I hope it is, considering the fact that I kind of compressed a lot of information in this video. I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching. I remain yours truly, Kamba, and thank you for joining me on Kamba's World. Bye.